Good afternoon. Good afternoon and welcome to the celebration of ASEC at 20. We are so happy to have so many of you taking time to join us to mark this occasion. There are a few people I would like to introduce, some celebrities who are here. Where's the paparazzi? I want to make sure you get their pictures. Members of the General Council of the Sisters of St. Joseph, Congregational President, Sister Maureen Erdlin, Sister Eileen Marnian, Sister Teresa Shaw, Sister Karen Dietrich, and Sister Owen Bonner. Welcome. Sister Pat Kelly, former Congregational President and member of the ASEC Board, is one of the founding members. Mike Dunleavy, former member of the Chestnut Hill College Board and a current member of the Advisory Council to the Board. Mike and his wife Nancy enjoyed a tour of St. Francis Hospital administered by an ASEC graduate during their trip to Kenya a few weeks ago. Bridget Blake, former ASEC board member and instructor in several African countries. Bridget is a Chestnut Hill honorary degree recipient and lives in Chestnut Hill. And I welcome our very special guest today, Sister Draru Mary Cecilia, Executive Director of the African Sisters Education Collaborative, is a member of the Little Sisters of Mary Immaculate of Gulu in northern Uganda. And Sister Nancy Kamu, Assistant Director for Development, is a member of the Little Sisters of St. Francis of Assisi from Kenya. And they both work in our main office in Scranton. So thank you for being here with us today. The African Sisters Education Collaborative started as a dream right here on this campus. Sister Mary Reap, IHM, then president of Scranton University, and I were talking after a meeting, indicating that we needed to find a better way to educate sisters from Africa. There were many problems associated with bringing sisters here for a period of time to attend our institutions. And it wasn't working out for a number of reasons. But we believe that the miracle of technology could open the door to do things that before were impossible. The initial idea to minister on site in Africa came from Sister Mary Reap and Sister Ann Munley, IHM, then congregational presidents of the Sister Servants of the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Determined to collaborate, to make the vision live, we were spurred to action and invited our president colleagues and the presidents of the university's founding congregations to join us in a venture that would take us to the African continent. Thus, Chestnut Hill College, Marywood University, Rosemont College, and Newman University, the Sisters of St. Joseph, the Sister Servants of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, the Sisters of the Holy Child, and the Franciscan Sisters joined hands and heart to work toward the goal of educating African sisters in 5 sub-Saharan English-speaking countries. We wanted to educate them so they could do what American sisters did in this country for the children of immigrants in the 19th, 20th, and 21st centuries. Today, we are educating women religious in 10 African nations. The mission of ASEC is to facilitate access to education for women religious in Africa that leads to enhancement and expansion of the education, health, economic, social, environmental, and spiritual services they provide. There are 4 programs. The Sisters Leadership Development Initiative was the brainchild of Steve Hilton, the grandson of Conrad N. Hilton, the great hotel magnate who founded a multi-billion-dollar foundation whose primary focus was to fund the works of women religious. I think very few people know that. Steve asked ASEC to create and provide a 2-year on-site training program for African women religious that included education in leadership, finance, technology, construction oversight, and all the essentials entailed in receiving and implementing grants. The Higher Education for Women in Africa, HESA, was another gift given to us by the foundation once we succeeded in launching the SLDI project. This funds the education of women religious at both the master's and the baccalaureate levels. Through partnerships with 23 African universities, ASEC is able to offer both online programs in the United States delivered by Chestnut Hill College, Marywood, and Rosemont, and on-site programs in Africa administered by institutions of higher education in each country. Service learning programs for United States students. Students at ASEC member institutions have the opportunity to travel to African countries to benefit from service learning projects. Students participate in a semester-long preparatory course, fundraise to finance the trip, and profit from a 2 to 3 week hands-on experience in ASEC. Faculty mentors from Chestnut Hill and Marywood have been an essential part of these trips. This past year, for the first time, ASEC opened the trip to members of American religious congregations who participate in ASEC, and Sister Terry Shaw accompanied our students. We also have scholarship programs for sisters in Tanzania, Malawi, and Zambia. ASEC scholarships fund 2-year scholarships so that African religious women can obtain a secondary education or complete a post-secondary 2-year degree. So how and when did ASEC formally begin? In 1995, ASEC founding members, together with national associations of major superiors in Africa, conducted a needs assessment, which was followed by a site visit to Africa. In 1999, after studying the needs of the 5 African countries, the founding universities and the congregational presidents officially inaugurated ASEC, again, right here at Chestnut Hill College. As you can imagine, when people who have arduous full-time jobs come together to launch a new full-time initiative, it takes more time than anticipated. This was certainly true with ASEC. From 1999 to 2004, we were trying to decide how to make the vision a reality. With few resources and no financial backing, we struggled with our limitations and also with our growing desire to serve the sisters in Africa. In 2004, a conference in the United States, which was supported by a local foundation, brought 14 major superiors and women religious from 5 African countries to pray, plan, yes, play, and dream. I think it is important to note that from its inception, ASEC was committed to mutuality and collaboration. ASEC America was determined to work with ASEC Africa so together we might find solutions appropriate to the participating countries. At this conference, the sisters received their first ever computers. Though it was September 24th, it truly felt like December 25th. If we were to launch an educational initiative in Africa, it was clear to us that courses in the use of technology were essential. In response to this need, Sister Lisa Oliveri and Sister Rose Albert Retta volunteered to pioneer pilot programs. Thus, in the summers of 2005 and 2007, they trained sisters in Nairobi, Kenya, and in Kampala, Uganda, respectively. In the summer of 2006, we had the good fortune to welcome African sisters from our 5 partner nations to Chestnut Hill College and Marywood University, as well as to the Sisters of St. Joseph and the Sister Servants of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, to participate in training in technology. These 5 sisters lived with Sisters of St. Joseph in area local communities, which enriched their experience and ours. For 2 weeks, they underwent intensive training at Chestnut Hill and the SSJ Technology Center. In 2007, the SLDI program was launched with a 3-year, $2 million grant from the Conrad N. Hilton Foundation. A veteran traveler and committed servant leader, Bridget Blake has journeyed to several African countries to teach leadership courses and to represent ASEC at various official convenings. Graduation ceremonies in Africa are a great deal of fun, from what I understand. It is a real celebration. And Sister Catherine Miller, now a seasoned visitor to the African continent, represented ASEC as a graduation speaker in Tanzania, Malawi, Zambia, and Ghana. Hundreds of sisters have graduated from SLDI. In 2012, the original dream was realized when the program in higher education for sisters in Africa was inaugurated with funding from the Hilton Foundation. My recollection, the first grant was $5 million. Sisters now could receive baccalaureate degrees without traveling to the United States. In 2013, Chestnut Hill College signed a memorandum of understanding with the Catholic University College of Ghana so that our credits could be counted toward the sisters' degree completion. The HESA program officially began with an on-site orientation course taught by Sister Lisa Oliveri in Ghana and Nigeria. Sister Lisa generously gave her time to this initiative during the summers of 2014 to 2018, and she returned again in 2020. Once having successfully completed the orientation course, sisters enroll in online courses at Chestnut Hill College. The sister students take online courses for 3 semesters, and the credits are transferred to a Catholic university in Africa. Now, this is interesting because Sister Lisa taught in an outdoor classroom in Ghana where her sister students were often joined by curious goats who walked nimbly through, hoping for something to nibble. This slide pictures our first class to graduate in Ghana. These are sisters in Nigeria receiving their laptop computers as they prepared to take the initial course on their journey to a baccalaureate degree. Dr. Deborah Giordano, chair of the Education Department at Chestnut Hill College, traveled to the Catholic University College of Ghana to represent us when the first classes were to begin there. There is a long list of some of the faculty who have been adjunct members on our online program. Here's a great shot of the library where one of the sisters who is working with us got her library card. Our librarians also assist students in our programs with their studies. Dean Elaine Green, Director of Admissions, April Folks, and SCPS staff work with sisters from application to enrollment and beyond to ensure that their learning experience is successful and that bumps in the road are quickly smoothed over. 6 generous CHC faculty have served as teachers and mentors on trips to Tanzania, Kenya, and Ghana. Lauren Barrow is a mentor for the 2020 trip to Ghana. Madison Coyne and Alex McCowan are pictured here in Kenya giving tender, loving care to 2 children. Nicole Carney, one of our graduates, said of her trip to Tanzania, "The service learning trip I participated in through ASEC in 2015 had a major impact on my life. At Chestnut Hill College, we value serving our dear neighbor. but I believe that ASEC showed me that our dear neighbor may be all the way around the world. And here students had the great opportunity to meet the chief of one of the villages who came out to welcome them. What ASEC has accomplished is an outward manifestation of God bringing a dream into the light of day. The collaboration between the ASEC Board of Directors, the ASEC staff in the United States, the leadership conferences of women religious in Africa, the women religious who serve on site in Africa as liaisons between Africa and the United States, is an exemplar of the power of partnerships to bring about monumental transformation for marginalized and vulnerable populations. None of this would have been possible without the financial and moral support of the Conrad N. Hilton Foundation. Steve Hilton, Brad Myers, and Sister Jane Wakahu, whose unwavering champion of this project provides the fuel that makes it run. When the current grants are expended, the Hilton Foundation will have contributed $33 million to this project. There are no words to say thank you. Finally, let it be said that women religious working together with their partners for the good of others are an unstoppable, unbeatable, unquenchable force, a fire with the passionate energy and the divine grace to turn today's seeds into tomorrow's harvest. ASEC at 20 has changed the world forever and will continue to work to provide for those it serves a future full of hope. Welcome. It is now my privilege to introduce a very accomplished woman with whom we so value working. Sister Draru Mary Cecilia is the Executive Director of the African Sisters Education Collaborative. And I told you she's a member of the Little Sisters of Mary Immaculate of Gulu in northern Uganda. Prior to locating to the United States in 2017, Sister served for 15 years in several positions at Uganda Martyrs University in Kampala, including her most recent role of Dean of Students. Sister Draru received her doctorate from Radboud University in the Netherlands. Her academic study focused on education, gender, African feminism, and sustainable development in Africa. Welcome, Sister.
Good afternoon, dear brothers and sisters. It is such an honor to be here on a ground where the idea of ASEC was teased out and the dream was put into shape. And it is what we are celebrating here today, 20 years down the road. One of the board members who is here, Dr. Reich, made a comment that in Africa, if the sisters don't do it, nothing ever gets done. I think it is so true of our sisters here in the US, and particularly our founding members. And here I want to make reference to the Sisters of St. Joseph, and I want to say thank you so much, dear sisters, for what you have done for ASEC. I just want to give this background before I come to when I got a call from Sister Carol to Uganda. So when they put up a call for the executive director of ASEC, my superior general called me and said, Sister Draru, there is a call in the US for this position, and you have worked a lot with women. would you like to try? I said, Mother, no, I've never been to the US. So how do I actually begin to, in any case, it is such a big thing that I don't think I'll get through there. She said, no, you know, the sisters in the US have done so much for us. And when they send out a call that they need somebody to coordinate this program, we cannot just sit by, we need to respond. I know you will not get through, but let's respond to our sisters in the US. So write your application. I know you will not get through, but at least we would have shown to the sisters that we are responsive to what they have done to us. And so I submitted an application like a joke. And the Lord was working and working and working. And a telephone call here, a Zoom interview here, and so on. And then I think it was July 1st when I got a call from Sister Carol and said, is that Sister Draru? He said, yes, I am. I'm giving you a job. I said, what? I'm giving you a job. Will you take it? I said, okay, let me first talk to my Mother General, and then I think it will be okay, but let me first talk to Mother. And that's how I got myself into the US and in the leadership of this organization. And I'm so happy that I am here to respond to the calls of the sisters here in the US. And Sisters of St. Joseph, IHM sisters, Sisters of the Holy Child, Sisters of St. Francis, and the colleges, Chestnut Hill, Marywood University, and Rosemont College, and Newman University. Sister Nancy, I would like you to go down to the impacts. But what I want to say, when we stand on this threshold of 20 years of the foundation of ESSEC, what has become of ESSEC? My experience is this, right from my acceptance to come to be in the leadership position in this organization, one thing that is clear is that ESSEC came into Africa with a difference. It was a sister-to-sister reach out. It was a sharing of charisms, a sharing of mission, and a sharing of spirituality. We are a young church. So how do we actually get grounded in our religious life and give the services that people need from us if we are not strengthened? Many organizations that come to us were teasing us. So somebody gives you with this hand, on the other side, they put conditions. ESSEC is the only one that the sisters can identify with and say, after all, this is from my sister. And my sister wishes me well. And that is the way ESSEC is received in Africa. And I want to say thank you to the sisters. As we speak now, we have over 5,000 sisters, over 5,300 sisters that have gone through the various ESSEC programs. And what these sisters are doing on the ground is incredible. It is becoming, people are beginning to reckon with the sisters. If you go from, okay, so now those are the countries that we are talking about. Sister Nancy, if you just go down, I think. So here we go up. Yeah. So if you see the number of, the way the vocations are growing in Africa, but this vocation is a workforce that is underskilled for what it does. So you have a sister who has completed year 4 of a secondary school and is teaching high school, and she's sending students to the university, and she herself is actually underqualified than the students that she's teaching. How does that happen? People look at the sisters in Africa, if they look at me, they really don't care whether I'm a teacher or I'm a nurse. So there is this experience. You are traveling in a bus, and a mother is in labor pain, and people are coming, sister, this lady is in labor pain. You are traveling on a public transport, and you are a teacher who only knows how to hold a chalk or a marker and a pen. and you are there and you can't say no. So if this lady succeeds to give birth successfully, they will say, yeah, she gave birth because sister was there. If the child dies, they will say, my child died, even sister was there. So like in both ways, you carry responsibility. So you need to know how to organize yourself and call other women to come around. So that time, and I couldn't say I'm not a nurse, so what I have to say is, are there women here who have given birth? Do you know how to help this mother? And they'll come, but you have to be there. And so the other women came, the bus pulled aside, and this mother was able to give birth, and we helped her, put her back into the bus, and the bus continued until the next station. Can you imagine that? And you can imagine what was going inside me. But what makes a sister be able to mobilize and call for help? It is the empowerment of education. That you don't have all the skills, but you have the courage, you have the ability to mobilize the resources around you to give the most needed help that you are called for. And that is the effect of education. So the growing population of sisters in Africa is a good input, but if that population is not prepared, if we do not have the right skills, it will not have the impact that it has. So ESSEC does exactly that, to strengthen this group, this army, I call it, of sisters, so that service reaches to the people. And what is good about the education of the sisters is when you have highly educated a sister and you place her in that rural setting, she will be there. She will not say, I'm going to look for greener pastures. If now, for example, somebody offers for me a job in the United Nations, I will not go because my obedience has placed me where I am. So when you have these highly skilled women, you know that service which the people need in that rural setting with little resources, that the people will receive them. And that is one of the big things that the sisters have done. And this education is not just for individual sisters. No, the sisters, there is the mentorship bit of the ESSEC programs. So you are training a sister, she goes back to her community, she's mentoring this, she's mentoring that. And in our evaluation, when we're evaluating the impact of ESSEC programs, we are not able to reach the second, third, and fourth tiers of mentorship. It has just spread like fire on the continent. And it is beginning to cause some agitation, and the priests are saying, what about us? And the brothers are saying, what about us? And then we say, the sisters say, you ask your brothers to help you. For us, it is our sisters. Yes. And recently, one of the bishops came that is being segregative. He said, no, we are only doing it at a sister-sister level. This is like playing at a low rudder, but we are really not on a low rudder. We are really at a high rudder. Yeah, but that is how much how giant ESSEC is in Africa. But even in spite of all this, we have just been able to reach about 11.6 sisters in all the training, and you can see the impact that is on the ground. How much more if we just raise that percentage to 20? And we are there, we are going that direction. Sister? Okay, just go below that. Go. Okay. So these are just some of the statistics that you can see how many sisters have been served just by higher education alone. And the good thing with the sisters is because they are mature, the sisters don't come into the university. That's why I'm talking about the strengthening of charisms. The sisters do not go to higher education just to obtain those degrees and have higher qualifications. They go into those universities as missionaries. They go into those universities as a presence that gives meaning in this confusion in the world. So they are not just giving meaning to the students who are their colleagues, but even professors. Sisters have said, sisters, we are doing our coursework, but then you have these students coming after classes, they have this issue, they have that issue, they are sharing this, and professors in the class are saying, sister, I'm doing this, but you should know more than me. So like they are always being challenged, so they are kept on their toes. So it's not only for themselves, but also for the students that they are interacting with, for their communities, and particularly for the people who look up to the sisters as role models. So, get before that. So some of the success stories are here. So this is an alumni who is placed, if you look at that environment, it is a desert kind of environment. And this girl naturally should be in school, but she's not in school. And so when the sisters arrive in this place in Ghana, the sister, who, because of the skill that she has developed, she managed to mobilize for clean water source and bring this water point nearer to the community, so these kind of girls can now go to school because the water source is now near. And she is mobilizing this resource using the skills that we are getting. So, and you cannot measure the impact of that. It is just too much to talk about. But this is one. Sister, go in. And so you can see for yourself. Sister, don't go fast. Sister Nancy? Yeah, there. So you see, in terms of human development needs, you see how much they have been able, the people that they have been able to serve, the jobs that the sisters have created, and the funds that they have mobilized individually. We put them together through our evaluation program, and this is a report of 2018. We have not finished compiling the one of 2019. Go ahead. And that's the same in terms of the areas of impact using the Millennium Development Goals, especially education, clean water, health, and so forth. We put it that way. So you can see those figures. We cannot look at them one by one. And go ahead, sister. So that's the scholarship program. That's the big deal that Sister Carol was talking about. When it comes to graduation, and these are high school sisters who are going through the high school. And graduating from that high school, they're not only preparing to go to the university, they are also in service. One of the sisters who is teaching high school students to go to the university is in this program. But she is teaching students, and the students are going to the university, and she herself had not gotten the high school qualification. And so I think that sister, go ahead. So this is one of the some of the girls that we also bring into our scholarship program. We always get 2 intelligent and poor girls who are intelligent into the scholarship program, and one of them is this Fedesta Paul, and she made her expression there that I wish to become a medical doctor, and she's actually pursuing medicine now. Yeah. So that's the service learning which Sister has talked about. So in terms of when Essex stands at the threshold of the year 20, there's so much to celebrate. From what the universities such as Chestnut Hill and the Sisters of St. Joseph have done, the celebration is much more on the impact that you have, even to a level that you cannot express. We really cannot put a deeper finger into it. So when we train the sisters, we're not just training personnel for evangelization, we are training personnel for human development. And in Africa, people look up to the sisters because they look at the sisters as mothers, they look at the sisters as daughters, and the sisters have changed the face, the value that people attach to women. So people know that this is not just a daughter in the house. This is more than a daughter in the house, because they see what the sisters do. And the sisters are role models for the young girls. And a lot of that landscape has changed. And for that, I really wish to thank our founders so much, and Sister Carol with your team for giving me this opportunity to serve our sisters. For me, being in this leadership position is giving back to the community that invested so much in me. You know, we are community children. to bring up a girl from the village where I came from, over maybe, I don't know how many, 10,000 kilometers from here, and in that shore of the Nile, and to bring me to the level where today I'm speaking at Chestnut Hill College is a very big thing. It took several people, and took so many good hearts, and that is what ESSEC is doing for the sisters in Africa. And when the sisters come for technology course, some of them had never seen a computer. Some of them have never held a mouse. And they have been spending a lot of money going to internet cafes to do the kind of things that they have to do. Now, after the technology course, our profession days are now organized and the cards are being designed by the sisters themselves. The sisters are now building up, strengthening up the congregations by, developing their, how do I call it, strategic plan, financial plan, human resource policy. They are making congregations to function as efficient institutions. So the impact is big. I wish I could say it in the right word, but this is really the best that I can put to it. And I wish God could give me the bigger inspiration to say what I want to say, but this is it, that this organization has made a big dent into the continent of Africa. And remember, the sisters who are trained in Africa are not only in Africa. Now we are going to do a tracer study. The sisters have moved to India, and they are doing the same things there. The sisters are in Europe, and they are doing the same things there. The sisters are spreading from Africa, so it is like something, how do I call it? The impact is far beyond the continent of Africa. This is the miracle of ESSEC. And I want to thank our founders so much for it. And each and every one of you for being these great contributors to lift the face of Africa. Sometimes the continent of Africa, we say, but so much money is being pumped into Africa. Why is that there's no change? Every time we are hearing stories of hunger, this and that, why is there no good story coming out? Because the funds are landing in the hands of wrong people. And the funds are not reaching to the people for which it is meant. ESSEC is not giving physical money, but it is giving the education empowerment, which reaches where it is supposed to reach. That's why there are good news coming through ESSEC. And I think that's the way to go. And that we should be able to tell these stories in the most sincere way in which we are telling it now. That these impacts are real. And that when you entrust projects, when you entrust knowledge, skills in the hands of the right people, you are going to reach that population, and that population is changing, and it is changing rapidly. The sisters have crossed the line now. They are on advocacy. They are on advocacy on child trafficking. In Nigeria, they had a demonstration with the placards on the road talking about child trafficking of the young people. In Uganda, the sisters went into the parliament to meet the Speaker of Parliament to make a case. So they have also crossed that boundary. In Kenya, one who was fighting child trafficking got thrown into prison. And when she was in prison, she was there with the girls who were also trafficked and thrown into prison. And she used it as a good chance. Say, Lord, thank you for putting me here in the prison. Let me now spread the news to the women who are with me in the cell. And she began. And when the prison warders realized that she was teaching the prison women, they pulled her out and released her out of prison. So these are things that are happening at the level of advocacy. And name it. I wish I could name it more, but there is so much. But I want to say, in gratitude, thank you. Thank you so much. as a gesture of our gratitude to our founding members, here I have some small gift which I would like to hand over to our distinguished sisters who were right there at the beginning and have seen ESSEC grow. And the first one among these is our beloved sister, Carol Jean Val. Sister Carol, inside there you'll find a gift from the US, but there is also a gift from Africa. And that gift in Africa, if you pull it out, I could explain. So this gift depicts a mother, and a mother has a young daughter. You can look at it as a mother and a daughter, or as an elder sister with the younger sister. So the elder sister has grown, but is not forgetting that there is a young one that is here, and so she keeps her very close, and you see how she's holding her? That is what, Sister Carol, you have been with your team to us. Thank you so much. And the US one is there. So the next one is Sister Patricia Kelly. Sister Pat Kelly, yes. You have been there right at the beginning of ESSEC, and want to thank you. I will also explain your African, the symbolic.
Thank you so much.
So this is supposed to be a fan. This is a fan. And, you know, when things get tough, they say, let the tough get going. And when the tough are getting going, you need some fresh air. And that's what Sister did right at the beginning. The fresh air you gave is what we have already expressed to you. We also had, we have for Sister Ann Meyer, we brought the gift. Sister Ann Meyer has been a great, she advocated for ESSEC, especially using her position as a president to talk in LCWR and other forums, and she's not here, so the gift is being taken care of in the office. Now here we have Sister Lisa. Sister Lisa is an African woman. and so what is in her office from Africa, there is nothing in Africa that will surprise her. So we have restricted you to the US. Thank you so much for the time that you have put for ESSEC and for bringing up the sisters. And you are a mother to many sisters, and I'm sure they have given you names in wherever you have been. Yes, but thank you so, so much. And here is Sister Catherine Miller. The secret of Sister Catherine Miller is she has so many daughters, grandchildren, great-grandchildren in Africa that I don't know whether when you are giving birth to all these people you had family planning, but but apparently that's what you are. And so this is first to you, and I want to explain your African gift there. Okay. So this is to show all your grandchildren and your children around the world how they are thanking God for you and praying that God still gives you grace to keep supporting them as a grandma, as a great-grandma, as a mama, and as a sister. And for each and every one of you, thank you so, so much. I wish we could be more together, but thank you for your presence and for honoring this day and for warmly welcoming us here. Sisters of St. Joseph, we went to the Mother House. We did a pilgrimage that has refreshed my heart, and which normally when I get this kind of information and I have a chance to talk to the sisters when they're in training, I share your own mission experience with the sisters in Africa to strengthen them too. Thank you so much. God bless you abundantly.
What a great hire. Your words were inspiring, beautifully chosen, and communicated the message so well. I don't know if you were adding up or if it was clear to you, but if you add up what the sisters have been able to get through grants because of the training they got through SLDI, it's close to $25 million in grants. Hilton invested 33. We've gotten back 25. I mean, that is incredible, truly incredible. And when Steve Hilton met with us, he had just come from a meeting with all the foundations in New York, and they were all decrying the fact that they were pouring money into Africa and it wasn't getting where it needed to go. So he said, we're asking the sisters. We know the money will go where we want it to be designated. And I want to tell you, the $33 million, our colleges and universities and congregations are not getting any money. As a matter of fact, we pay dues to belong to ASEC. We have gotten a couple $100 course for the online courses. We are not making money on this. I would like that to be very clear. This is our philanthropy, along with Hilton. So it's a privilege, and the gratitude of the sisters in Africa is absolutely unparalleled. And it is a joy every time we welcome new sisters to the board, every time that we have a chance to get to know a new country. It has just been our privilege. So I want to acknowledge those who made this possible. I want to start with Sister Catherine Miller. I didn't know you had grandchildren, but you know, you learn something new every day. I want to thank you for planning and organizing this event. I want to thank James Berry, Cecilia Ruppel, and the entire CHC and SSJ communications and marketing teams. Sister Lisa Oliveri for using her expertise in designing the slides. Sister Teresa Shaw for assisting with the planning and communications. Barbara Crawford, and all those who contributed to the marketplace design and displays, and to those who did other things to make this a successful event. After the closing remarks by our congregational president, Sister Maureen Erdlin, who is also vice chair of our board of directors, I invite you to return to the rotunda. There are refreshments there, and if you didn't get a chance to walk around and see the tables and the various artifacts, I invite you to do that. Sister Maureen?
So my remarks will be a concluding prayer with great gratitude for the past and great hope for the future. Creator God, we come before you as a sacred sisterhood from many corners of this beautiful earth which you have shared with us. Our desire is to honor you and all your gifts, from the beauty of nature's panoramic vistas to the tiniest living form. We desire to stand for the rights, safety, and well-being of all your creation, especially the most threatened. We are so grateful for all that ASEC has accomplished these past 20 years, for the vision of those who have brought it to birth, and for all who have worked to make it possible. Today, we bring the concerns of the families and children of the nations of Africa. We pray for and with those who bring their passion, skills, patience, and perseverance to serve them, especially for all religious women, for we believe they have the potential to change people's lives forever. May all that we do through ASEC equip them with an education that prepares them to do the great things you have planned for their lives. We ask that you bless them, that through their leadership, they will bring about communities where all are nurtured, loved, protected, healthy, educated, and empowered to make their goals and dreams a reality and to truly live as your children. So with grateful hearts, to this we say, Amen.